Top five, top five, top five.
So time to go back with another video. I'm Strange Wang, he is Nate. Today, in honor of the menu, we're doing top 5 movies about food. He'll tell you how the top 5 works, and then we will do our thing.
So he's going to give his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means that if either of us has this, or if we both have the same movie, but one person has it 2 spots or higher on their list, we only talk about it the one time instead of doubling down, because that just takes more time.
Well, let's start the insanity.
Number 5 for me, Pig.
Zemeckis.
Number 4 for me, Waiting.
That's not, in my opinion, that is not a movie about food.
Do it look like I give a fuck?
It's about a restaurant and the food service industry. And it talks about waitresses not getting tipped.
It does talk about that.
And all this other stuff that when we both worked at a restaurant together, it was a PG-13 version of what that movie is. And because of that, it brings warm memories into the cockles of Strange Wing's heart. Pulling pranks on motherfuckers. Like, boss says these lids don't fit. Hey, let's fill up this cocksucker's car. That cocksucker comes out, he's pissed. He sweeps them in the fucking parking lot. While we're in business, there's customers. The owner's wife comes out. She's yelling at us. Hell no. She's giggling. She's geeking. She's taking pictures. But we gotta clean this shit up. How we clean it up? We put it in garbage bags and throw it into another cocksucker's car because his car doesn't lock.
It's true. So I went with Stranger Than Fiction because even though the movie is really about Will Ferrell and Emma Thompson in this book that she's writing, the subplot to all of it is that he is auditing Maggie Gyllenhaal's bakery. So there's this whole other thing about how he's boring as fuck and has this whole ass routine. So he doesn't want to eat one of her like cookies or cinnamon rolls or something. She's always covered in flour, baking shit, and it always looks really, really delicious. So the food does play a very central part to the story, and it's kind of a cop-out, which is why it's my number 5. Number 4 is Julie and Julia. This one's really interesting to me. You ever seen this movie? Okay.
I haven't seen either of those.
Okay, so it's about 2 different women named Julia. One was a famous cook. Yeah. Julie and Julia. One was a famous cook. The other one's a writer. And she kind of goes through this whole thing where she's got a cookbook. So the cook, Julia, when she was alive, she made a cookbook. So this girl's like, okay, I'm going to make every single recipe in this book. And like, I'm going to document, like, I'm going to write about it. And so through it, she develops a really good relationship with the kitchen and cooking and how making food has like an emotional connection to a lot of people. So it's about how these like 2 women from very different generations connect with each other through recipes, having never met. It's very sweet, very heartwarming. It's got Meryl Streep in it.
That boy good!
Number 3 for me is going to be My Friend Dahmer.
Ha!
That's gross.
I'm just
Although
kidding.
I almost put Fresh on my list. Just
You could have.
yeah,
Damn, that would have been good. That would have been hilarious.
yeah.
I was going to say Silence of the Lambs, but Dahmer's really popular right now. So I went with the more recent joke than the more iconic joke. But it's actually Ratatouille.
Zemeckis.
Goddamn. Goddamn. I heard that song for like the first time in like forever. I don't know if you know that song, Fetty Wap and Drake My Way.
I've probably heard it before.
And Drake's like, goddamn. Funny stuff. Heard it in the shower. Number 2, Chef.
Never seen it.
Damn, this movie's so fucking good. It's about director of Iron Man. He's not director of Iron Man in this movie, though. He's actually a cook, and he's lost his passion and really his family because of being this like high-class chef. It reminds me of one chef I know. It's an angry little bastard. And he quits. He gets mad. He's like, "Fuck this shit. I don't give a rat's ass." Ratatouille joke. And he says, "I'm done with it." He does his thing for a little while. He opens up a food truck, which are very popular now. So you got the trend right there with it, and the recency of it, and everything like that. And he finds his love for cooking again. It reunites. Ha ha.
Whack.
Him and his son have a relationship now. That they've bonded over this. And everything in between. But food is at the center of this movie. And because it was so good of a movie, and I enjoyed it so much, I want to become a chef after watching this. And then I realized I'm a picky eater, and I wouldn't know what tastes good and what tastes bad. So, like, this ain't a damn dino nugget. Get it out of here. I don't want to eat this
Good
shit.
grief. Those two?
Not wrong.
All right.
Yes.
So, my number 3, I debated on this one for a while, but then I was like, excuse me.
I wouldn't fly in a restaurant.
That's true. It wouldn't. So this one, I debated on it for a while, whether or not I was going to consider it a food movie. And what it boiled down to was how do I define food? And ultimately, I chose to define it as something that's edible. You put it in your mouth.
Hey, yo!
And it dissolves or you swallow it. So this counts. So my number 3, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah, that counts.
Yeah, absolutely. Willy Wonka. The Gene Wilder one, 1971. This whole movie is about food. But it's about really crazy, wacky food. And it really, there's like a hair floating right there. And like, this world truly is pure imagination. And the fact that some dude wrote a book that inspired this, and then someone was like, hey, in 1971, like visually, this was incredible. And even today, honestly, it's still pretty visually incredible. Like, everything in that movie is practical. Almost everything in that movie is edible. And it looks delicious. For the most part, based on how the characters are reacting, I would assume it is delicious. Although also dangerous. I really like that movie. It's also weird as shit. And I really like stuff that's weird as shit.
I actually, don't hate the '05 one.
I haven't seen it, so I can't...
Like, who gives a fuck? You know, dude. Like, people hate that movie, and I don't really understand why. Like,
it has a cult following, but...
Now, because of those kids that grew up
well, that's
with
how
it.
that works. That's how cult followings work.
Yeah,
a movie doesn't come out, and it's just a cult movie. Like...
Yeah, no, I disagree with that.
It's got to earn that shit.
Terrifier 2, like, that had a cult following, which Terrifier, and then Terrifier 2 came out because of fans loved that movie so much. A movie that I never fucking heard of until it got all publicity for this movie. And apparently, the studio's putting it in, and it will be counted as one of the movies that can be an Oscar nomination, which you'll probably get it for practical effects and makeup or anything. So it'll probably win an Oscar, which is crazy. Because it's a fan-funded movie. That was your 2.
Yeah. Oh, wait, no. That was 3. Sorry. My number 2 was one of the previous Zemeckis's. Wait, do we leave it? I forget what.
Who gives a fuck?
My number 2 is one of the previous Zemeckis. It's Pig. Nicolas Cage. He just wants his fucking pig. It finds truffles. He has an emotional connection to it, though. But I did not expect this movie to be as emotional as it ended up being. I had no clue where this movie was going to go because from the trailer, it could have been like John Wick. Like, and he just goes around and like the one scene where he does have to fight someone, he literally just lets them beat the shit out of him on purpose to prove a point. So like, and then you find out all this other stuff about him and his past and his relationship to food. And then they have that one scene where they're at the diner and they're talking to the guy, and like Nicolas Cage just they have this whole conversation about the importance of food and how certain bites make them feel and flavors and shit. And I just did not expect this movie to make me feel the way that I felt when I watched it, and it really all just had to do with a bunch of people really loving food.
And that movie is a bootleg, gritty version of Ratatouille. But it's also a good movie.
How?
Bro, we talked about this before. The guy has a pet who helps him cook. He finds truffles. He can't cook without the
but
truffles.
He doesn't cook.
People can't cook without the truffles. Hey.
That doesn't make any sense.
We talked about it. I'll find the fucking TikTok.
While you were talking, I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
It did not remind me of John Wick. It just hit me. This movie is hard R Ratatouille. People look down on rats. They look down on bums. He's smelly. He doesn't take showers. He hangs out with a fucking pig all day. He cooks. He cooks so good. The asshole in the movie cries.
Yeah.
Because it takes him back to a memory.
No.
Everything's okay after that.
That's a good point.
Hard on Ratatouille.
Yeah.
For the food, it didn't have enough food in it for me. And I didn't think about Willy Wonka, or it wouldn't have made my list.
It would have.
Willy Wonka would have made my list.
Oh, pig would
Pig
not
wouldn't
have. Big miss.
But it's got, like, it goes deep into the restaurant thing, so I counted it. Number one for me is Big Night. Big Night is a film about these Italian brothers cooking this dinner. And it's a beautiful story about the love for food and what Italians, they have this way about it, how they care about their food and whatnot. And it has this innocence, this innocent humor of it, about it, because how they go about the food and whatnot. And it's Monk. Monk's just an odd looking guy in general. So, like, when he's making these faces about bread and shit, it's just, and cheeses, it's fucking hilarious.
Tony Shalhoub.
Tony Shalhoub.
You can never pass up an opportunity to say Shalhoub.
Shalhoub. That guy doesn't tip either, I bet. But you got these guys and their conflict in between themselves and the family conflict, and then the guy's wife cheating on them. All these layers. They just come out to be such a beautiful story at the end of the day. And what's in the center of that? Food. They don't like each other, but they gotta cook with each other for the saying. So they're cooking out their feelings, and they're cooking the relationship back together or whatnot. It's a really good movie. Came out in like the late 90s. Very solid indie cinema from back in the day.
Nice.
It's about Italians. I'm Italian, so, you know.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's great stuff.
But I do remember the first time you watched it because you were really stoked about it.
Yeah.
And you told me about it. My number one is the other Zemeckis, which is Ratatouille.
Great fucking movie.
Yeah, it's an excellent movie. And it's literally just all about food.
That was correct.
Like, it is about the complexity of food. It is about the simplicity of cooking. Literally. Anyone can cook. That's what he says.
And I'm not lying.
And then you got the snobby guy, and like he gets taken back to. So like the point is every single person on the planet has a nostalgic connection to some food.
Yes.
Like everyone does, because there is something that we ate when we were younger, or something that like we had an experience with somewhere that just sticks with us. And when you eat that shit again, you are right back in that spot. And that is really what the movie is all about. It's just like how food and cooking and flavor is just another thing on this world that like helps unify people. It helps, like, for some people it is therapeutic, for some people it is passion, for some people the shit just tastes good. But it's something that everyone enjoys its existence. Like, even if you don't enjoy cooking itself, you enjoy food. Because A, we have to.
Yeah.
But
if they made a pill that would give me the nutrients of food, I would go without food.
yeah, I believe you. But there's still foods that you love.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I might eat once a week.
yeah, you might.
You know.
Mr. Sometimes I just want a nice steak.
Yeah.
You said that. That's what you
I
said.
did. Not often, you know, but you need a little red meat in your life. I'm just going to say ditto because he said it so beautifully. I don't want to say anything else to ruin what he said about Ratatouille. So ditto.
One more thing.
Let us know what your top 5 favorite movies about food is down in the comment section below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, and subscribe.